Apologies, April 24th.
Yes, and then a week before that, there was another incident on the property. Where Mr. Maxwell had come into our office and got a little uncomfortable and he started getting loud. The women that were in my office and guests also, it looked like he was getting a gun out of his bag. They got very nervous and very scared. We've been scared at our office since then. He did actually, I got the women out to the back of the office and he followed them. He assaulted me and hit my arm, and I pushed him up against the wall to get him away from the girls.
Did you file a police report on that, Ms. McClellan?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. And so, so I'm looking at the affidavit that was submitted by uh, your attorney. It's a affidavit for arrest and detention, saying that this response to the scene on the, I guess, second-degree felony, I guess, assault with a deadly weapon, that happened on April, it says May 1st.
It happened on the 24th of April.
I think the confusion, Your Honor, the food delivery incident did happen on May 1st. At the bottom of the affidavit, you can see in the last paragraph.
Oh, yes, the 424.
Exactly.
Right.
Her incident happened on April 24th.
Okay, so there was a notice to vacate delivered to him. Well, it says May 6th, but there was a prior notice to vacate on April 24th?
Yes, I had given him a 3-day notice to vacate on the 24th, I believe.
Okay, and what happened with that notice to vacate? Was it a 30-day notice?
We gave a 3-day notice actually because it was an assault on our staff. We gave him a 3-day notice and then nothing had happened. We filed with nationwide eviction at first, and then they threw it out, and then we obtained the hearing.
Okay. All right. Mr. Maxwell, you've been very patient listening to the allegations and what they're asking for. What's your side of the story?
Well, the only reason why the rent isn't paid as to this day is because I've been locked out of my account, and on the attempts to come in and get a ledger, that incident that she said occurred, there was a misunderstanding. There was no weapon in my bag. Police were on the scene. They did search me and released me to my apartment. I was just attempting to pay my rent, and I was denied. And I thought it was like a fire drill or something. When I went in there, I've never had this type of instance happen. Everybody ran to the back door. I ran as well. You know, it was full office, and I ran as well. That's when I was blocked by Ms. Jacqueline and told to exit the front door. And I asked, you know, why is everybody running back here? Why can't I leave with y'all? She said, nope, you got to go through that door. When I went through the front door, I was apprehended by Travis County, and they told me that they wanted to search me because, you know, they figured I had a weapon or something. I don't know where that came from. They searched my property, and they just released me. And I can pay the rent to this day. I'm still attempting to, but they won't allow me in any courts to pay it, and I'm not allowed in the office. I've been blocked entrance to the office prior, and I wrote a report to my leasing agent, well, not leasing agent, my housing agent, verifying that they won't allow me to come into the office. It was Miss Jacqueline and a maintenance staff that had approached me at the door in January, and I have that documented as well. And they denied me entry to the office, and basically I was threatened and told to move at that time. But as time went on, the incident with the GoPuff driver, that was an incident that occurred when I called and I prepaid and pre-verified with my ID through GoPuff. And I have the receipt and all that from them. Now, all those items were paid for, and upon validation in person, the driver couldn't speak any English, and he attempted to confiscate my ID. When there was a physical tussle for me to get my ID back, he ran and left his a Croc shoe in the hallway. And I had that Croc shoe, and I contacted GoPuff, and they said there was no incident or whatever. And when the cops came, the cops were pretty belligerent and saying, you know, come out, you're going to get arrested. And that's when I requested a supervisor on the scene. Supervisor never came. They did come with SWAT, because I did fear for my life at that time, because, you know, I was basically under attack because, you know, for some items that I paid for and trying to retrieve my ID from the driver who didn't speak any English. So that did occur, but that is right now in the motion for dismissal due to the fact that the driver never was contacted again, and there was no weapon involved at all. That was already confirmed. And I got all the paperwork from GoPuff that verifies everything, you know. So I mean, there was no situation for me robbing the GoPuff driver because everything was prepaid and my ID was pre-verified before they even attempted the delivery. And I have no problem with them as of this day. And all those bills that they want, I can pay that right now if they would allow me a vehicle to do that. They just won't allow me a way to pay my rent. And I've been attempting that.
Well, this affidavit for that warrant or the arrest and detention does indicate that there was a long kitchen knife involved.
No, no, there wasn't. That was actually confiscated from my dishwasher when they came in after they took me out. There was only one knife in here because I just moved in and I didn't get any of my dishes transferred here, and that was actually removed from my kitchen. And that case is still, like I said, it's in a motion for dismissal because of the complaining witness had initially called and said that I robbed him for his shoes, and that's what's on the documents. And it's still in the court right now, but you know it's actually up for dismissal because everything was paid for and it shows that, and my ID was verified. It was just a misunderstanding with him not speaking English and attempting to confiscate my ID. And I did admit to the court and everything on the affidavit that I did grab him to retrieve my ID back as he tried to confiscate it, saying that it wasn't valid. And that was the issue. And I got a cancellation from GoPuff after that happened, where they canceled it and said that no refund was going to be issued, but it didn't state any issue with, you know, police or anything like that. All that is all documented and dated to verify everything that I said.
Well, well, that's all.
But I haven't been convicted of anything. I mean, as far as the crime goes,
and I don't believe the lease says a conviction is required. It just says criminal activity.
Well, there was none.
Conduct.
There was none.
Yeah.
So it was just a misunderstanding on the driver's part. He didn't speak any English. He tried to confiscate my ID. So, I mean, I've used the service a lot of times.
Mr. Rogers, do you have any questions to ask Mr. Maxwell?
I just want to clarify, Mr. Maxwell, you said that there was only one knife because you just moved in?
Yeah, and they retrieved that from my dishwasher. That's a fact.
But your lease began back in October of 2020?
I haven't moved anything in my apartment. Everything in here was bought new when I got in here. I mean,
no,
I just haven't been able to retrieve my stuff from storage, and I still have my storage unit to this day. I haven't been able to retrieve it due to the U-Haul factor, and I just haven't gotten it.
No further questions for Mr. Maxwell, Your Honor.
Okay.
But if they allow me a vehicle to pay the rent, like I said, I can post that payment right now. That's no problem with any late fees. I've been attempting to, and I have the messages where they block me out. I have no vehicle to do it.
Well, I think the issue, and it's not necessarily the payment of rent, and I think you have a right to be very concerned. I think you're justified in being concerned about your rent. Do you have a voucher?
I just don't understand why they would think I had a gun in my bag to begin with. It's always been. I felt that I've been discriminated against in the office, and I did report that in January because of Miss Jacqueline and the maintenance guy already approaching me and denying me entry into the office and telling me that I needed to move. And that was no circumstances or any incidents at all. And I still don't understand why I'm not allowed in the office. And every time I come in there, it's the same thing when I attempt to either retrieve a ledger or pay my rent. There's no incidents with me hurting Miss Jacqueline, and I thought we were pretty much on a friendship basis since I've been here. I mean, she's been the one who granted me the apartment. I just didn't notice the change in attitude afterwards. I've never presented any threat or harm to anybody over here in this apartment. I've never had any incidences or any violations or lease write-ups at all. I'm just now hearing about this after the incident with GoPuff. And that was all based off a phone call from a driver that didn't speak English. I have no criminal history in the past, nothing but misdemeanor traffic violations on my record. I've never been a threat or I have any type of violent history at all.
So when you got served, well, number one, when they gave you this notice to vacate,
I was in jail when they gave me the 3-day notice.
On May 6th? Okay.
Yeah.
And so when did you get out of jail?
I got out on I think the 16th. The 15th.
So May 15th. And so you were served by the constable.
This one came on the 19th. The official.
They gave it to you in person on the 19th. Okay.
Yeah.
And so since the 19th, you're like, I don't know what's going on. Have you gotten any legal advice, or have you?
I was attempting to get legal aid counseling, but that vehicle takes a while for the process, and I haven't gotten a response yet. That's why I requested the continuance. But there was an issue with my me sending the email to you via my ACC email. It doesn't send anything to any type of state facilities, and I didn't know that until today. So I sent it with my personal email today, and they got it. But I filed that continuance like 2 weeks ago, but
Okay.
I didn't know it didn't get to you guys. But yeah,
Okay.
I was trying to get an
Well,
attorney just to clarify what was happening on the end with GoPuff.
Okay. And do you have an attorney that's representing you on that case?
Yes, I
Or
do.
is that
Yes, I do.
Mr. Rogers? Your client's more concerned, I guess, was initially about the April 24th incident.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor,
This
but
happened later on. So, I mean,
No,
go ahead, Ms.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. No, it was the police. My company said that he wasn't allowed to stay here anymore. I did give him the benefit of the doubt and I let it go whenever he pushed me into the wall on the incident the week before. But the morning that the SWAT ended up having to come and fill our property, and really disturbed everybody because he wouldn't come out of his house. He had told me the week before, he told me that he thought I was a witch. He knew I was a witch and then I cast spells on people. And then the morning that happened, of the incident with the police coming, he was actually sitting outside of our office by a tree. And a young girl came in and she said, I'm kind of scared. She was on her way to the bus stop, for like 16 to 18 years old. And she said, I don't feel comfortable. There's a man, she doesn't know him. She said, there's a man sitting outside and he keeps saying he's going to go inside and kill the witch over and over.
Wow.
And that
Come on.
made her uncomfortable.
Your Honor,
And it
I'm
made-
sorry, Mr. Maxwell, we listened very patiently and let you speak. Let my client speak.
Thank
is
you.
that not true, Mr. Maxwell?
No, sir. I think that would have warranted a 911 call and a police report. If anybody, if that was you, me, or anyone, if I even experienced that, I would have had police investigate and follow up on that type of threat. If someone said that is a threat, and that threat is imminent, and that voids arrest and apprehension of anyone who actually does that. I never did anything like that on my part. The only time when I sit outside the office is to wait for Ubers. That's it. And I don't even.
Well, I mean,
no.
That
That just
really
sounds
can't-
outlandish, Judge. I mean, from your opinion as a judge, what would you do in that situation? If someone said I threatened to kill them.
That's a serious allegation. You're correct.
Thank you.
Correct.
And
And
what
I can't
follows up?
I'm not going to take that into consideration at this
Thank
time
you.
because I
Thank
don't
you.
have the witness that would have been able to have personal knowledge of that. It's all hearsay, but there is some other information and concerns by the property that I can't ignore.
I don't understand what they are. I mean, that case is just based off of a phone call as well, and it's still up for trial. And I haven't been proven guilty of any of those actions. I did not come out of my apartment because I've exercised my right to request a supervisor at the scene because I was in fear for the way that the policeman came to me. That was the only reason why I didn't come out. I didn't get a supervisor. I got SWAT. And I'm pretty sure if they told them to threaten and guns and all that stuff, yeah, they're going to come in here, with that type of, attitude. And I'm pretty sure someone told them I had a gun or something. Like the first time, why was that even discussed that I may have had a gun in my backpack? Where would that come from, Your Honor? It makes no sense.
Well, for some reason, Mr. Maxwell, they have a sincere fear of
From
you.
where?
I don't know why, and I haven't been there, so I can't tell why. And so I don't know if you intended to intimidate them or they've totally misread or misjudged your intentions, but I can't ignore the fact that Ms. McClellan says that her office has been in fear and that this incident happened with SWAT having to come because you did not remove yourself from the apartment when they told you to come out.
I exercised my right to request a supervisor, and that's what I did to initiate the SWAT. I mean, there was no weapons in here. And I thought you could do that as a citizen. I mean, with people telling the police previously that I have guns, I don't know if everybody knows what goes on right now with my type of people. That voids a death. and that's what I was scared of. Started telling people that type of stuff. I have guns, and that's what they expected when they came here. The initial report was a robbery of the GoPuff driver. That was the initial charge.
I don't know that. I don't know that either. So
Well, my attorney's working on that to get to get all that dismissed to where we already filed the motion. But if I can get that, then that could devoid that misconception of that incident. That's
so, Mr. Maxwell,
I'm not a threat to anyone.
You can appeal this judgment, but at this stage, I'm going to grant the eviction, but you have 5 days to appeal this judgment. You would have to post a bond to do so at county court and get a brand new trial at county court. But at this stage, I mean, their burden of proof is preponderance of the evidence. It's more likely than not. And so is it more likely than not that they're making up all this stuff, or did this stuff happen? And I don't think that they intentionally would be doing that because they just wanted to kick you out. And so I'm going to grant the eviction. I know you disagree with that, and you can appeal this judgment. You have 5 days to do so. You may want to get some legal advice. Like I said, you can have a brand new trial at county court. But I'm going to award the rent that's due through today as part of the judgment, the $544.90, and then I'm going to do the $700 in attorney's fees. And if in fact this goes to appeal, Mr. Rogers, you can ask for whatever additional attorney's fees you're asking for as well. And so with that, I'm going to issue the judgment. Today is Friday, so Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is the 5th day. However, we close at 4 o'clock, so your appeal period runs over till Thursday at 4 o'clock. So you have Thursday till 4 o'clock to appeal this judgment with the proper bond. What do you want me to set the bond at, Mr. Rogers? Since his portion of the rent's what, $277.
$277. It is low, Your Honor. The conduct is still concerning here. I'd ask for at least a $1,275. That's the full 1 month's rent. I think that's a reasonable compromise.
I'm on fixed income, Your Honor. He knows I can't afford that. My income doesn't even avoid that much a month. That's just it just seems excessive. I can afford to pay all the rent and that's owed, and any late fees, that's fine, and then whatever other charges, but that's just excessive.
I'm going to set the appeal bond at $600. So if it's reasonable, I think, based on what his portion of the monthly rent is, and you're saying the 2 months rent have not been paid. So $600 is the appeal bond, and you'll have 5 days to appeal that judgment, Mr. Maxwell. Otherwise, it does become final, and they can take steps to enforce that with the constable. All right. And so, do you have who's your caseworker? Who works with you on your voucher?
Tiffany Gerald's.
Okay. And who are they with? Health and Human Services, or who are they with?
No, they're with Travis County Housing Authority.
Okay. See, all right. So you may want to work with that person, let them know what's going on. But otherwise, you may want to get some legal advice. You're trying to get a hold of Rio Grande Legal Aid, or that may be what you got.
So when if that charge gets disposition, or go ahead and gets dismissed within that time of the appeal, will that actually negate what is being filed against me on that my eviction?
Ask your question again, please.
The case that's pending right now, that they're saying the SWAT team incident or whatever, if that disposition comes out as dismissal and I prove that, will that negate anything? I mean, I can pay my rent, like I said. They just won't allow any vehicle to pay.
That does not. That's a total separate incident. Their concern is about the disturbance that came to the property because of that there was a SWAT team called out, and so
that's what I'm saying. If I get that charge dismissed,
that, but maybe at a county court reason, you may present evidence as to why you felt you were in danger of physical harm because of of your skin tone and behavior of the police towards Black folks. I don't know, but that's not what we're here for today. I don't know who the victim was, why the victim was making those allegations. All I have is the affidavit, which was sworn to, And there was no dispute that SWAT was called out because you refused to leave your apartment after they told you to come out. So I'm sorry. With that, I'm going to go ahead and like I said, if you want to appeal, the appeal paperwork is here at this courthouse. You'd start it here, but you have 5 days to do so and post your the proper bond. All
So I would have to come to the courthouse in person to get the documents, or could I download the documents and file them?
Are they online? They're also available online, sir.
I'll go ahead and get that process started. That's
All right.
fine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more crazy court hearings like this one.